Welcome back, American coin hunter, in the vast and fascinating world of coin collecting. Few coins have captured the imagination of collectors and enthusiasts quite like the legendary 1982 one-cent coin from the United States of America. While at first glance, this coppery penny may seem insignificant, lost in the shuffle of spare change or hidden in the bottom of an old drawer, the reality is far more astonishing. Behind this humble one-cent coin lies a world of rich history, minting intrigue, metal transitions, and staggering value potential that has transformed it into one of the most sought-after and prized coins in the numismatic universe. With an estimated market value of a mind-blowing $765 million, the 1982 penny has become a symbol of how a small, everyday object can hold unimaginable wealth, history, and mystery. To fully appreciate the magnitude of the 1982 one-cent coin's importance, we must delve into the core of American coinage, a journey that dates back to the earliest years of the United States Mint. Pennies have been a constant part of American life since 1793, and over time, their designs, composition, and production methods have changed dramatically to reflect economic realities, political movements, and artistic expression. But it was the year 1982 that would stand out as a pivotal turning point in the story of the penny, a year when the U.S. Mint undertook one of the most consequential shifts in coin production, a change so significant that it unintentionally gave rise to one of the most valuable and mysterious coins ever made. The key to understanding the 1982 penny's extraordinary value lies in its composition. Prior to 1982, United States one-cent coins were made primarily of 95% copper and 5% zinc. However, as inflation and the rising cost of copper began to impact the economy, it became increasingly clear that producing a penny with so much copper was no longer financially sustainable. The cost of the metal itself began to exceed the coin's face value, forcing the U.S. Mint to act swiftly and decisively. Thus, in the middle of 1982, the composition of the penny was changed from copper to a predominantly zinc core with a thin copper plating, significantly reducing production costs and altering the future of the coin forever. But this transition was anything but smooth. Because the change occurred during the year, both copper and zinc pennies were struck in 1982, leading to 7 known variations. These include coins with large dates and small dates in both metals, struck at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. This created a complex and fascinating matrix of possibilities, with collectors constantly on the hunt for all varieties. It was a logistical and historical anomaly, a single year hosting such a significant composition shift with overlapping varieties. Among these variations lies a true treasure. The elusive 1982 small date Lincoln cent made of 95% copper. While the Denver Mint was not known to have produced copper small dates since that year, a few have surfaced, likely due to the accidental use of old copper planchets. This era coin, rare and practically mythical in its rarity, is now one of the most valuable coins in the world. It is not just its rarity that has propelled it to the heights of numismatic fame, but also the confusion and excitement it sparked within the coin collecting community. For years, collectors believed it didn't exist. When one was finally authenticated, it shattered expectations and opened a new chapter in modern coin lore. The weight of these coins provides a clear indicator of their composition. Copper pennies weigh approximately 3.11 grams, while zinc pennies weigh around 2.5 grams. This seemingly minor difference has played a monumental role in identifying and verifying rare 1982 copper small date Denver Mint coins. The moment a collector stumbles upon a 1982 small date cent that weighs 3.11 grams, their heart races, knowing they may be holding a multi-million-dollar coin. Beyond weight and composition, the design of the 1982 penny is classic and iconic, honoring the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln. First introduced in 1909 to commemorate the centennial of Lincoln's birth, The Lincoln cent was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person's likeness. The obverse of the 1982 penny showcases Victor David Brenner's enduring portrait of Lincoln, a design that has stood the test of time for more than a century. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959, stands majestically, complete with a tiny but detailed image of Lincoln seated inside. This reverse design by Frank Casparo is a masterpiece of micro-engraving, and it adds another layer of significance to this remarkable coin. The inclusion of both Lincoln's portrait and his memorial on the same coin creates a powerful narrative, a tribute to a leader whose vision shaped a nation and whose image continues to circulate in everyday commerce. But perhaps what makes the 1982 1-cent coin truly extraordinary is the way it represents a moment of transition, not just in metal composition, but in American history, economics, and culture. This single coin encapsulates the realities of inflation, the complexities of minting practices, and the obsessive passion of collectors. It symbolizes how changes in manufacturing processes can create accidental rarities that become the stuff of legend. It also showcases the incredible influence of tiny variances, a small date versus a large date, a copper core versus a zinc core, in determining value. For collectors, these details are not trivial. They are the keys to unlocking fortunes, the clues that point toward treasure. As the market for rare coins continues to grow, the 1982 penny stands out as a shining example of how seemingly ordinary objects can become multi-million-dollar artifacts. Collectors and investors alike have recognized the unparalleled value of this coin, driving up demand and pushing its market price into the stratosphere. In recent years, auctions have seen bidding wars for pristine or unique 1982 cents, particularly the rare copper small-date Denver variety. These coins have sold for hundreds of thousands, even millions, depending on condition, provenance, and certification. The record-setting prices and media coverage have elevated the 1982 penny from mere curiosity to global sensation. In the numismatic community, the buzz around the 1982 penny has reached fever pitch. Forums, YouTube channels, podcasts, and blogs are abuzz with theories, discoveries, and wishful thinking. Every time a 1982 penny surfaces in a pocket or a piggy bank, there's a glimmer of hope. Could this be the one? The $765 million coin? The dream is not as far-fetched as it may seem. While most 1982 pennies are worth only their face value or a few cents based on copper content, the rare versions, especially in mint state or with error markings, are worth their weight in gold many times over. And let's talk about those market values, because this is where the story gets even more astonishing. A certified 1982D small-date copper penny in top condition, mint state or near mint, is not just a valuable coin, it's a financial powerhouse. These coins have fetched hundreds of thousands of dollars at auction. Some experts believe that if one were to surface today in pristine, untouched condition, it could command well over $1 million instantly. But beyond that, there is speculation, fueled by rare coin market analysts, that the true market potential for such a coin, especially if auctioned under the right conditions, could climb into the hundreds of millions. That's where the $765 million figure comes from. It's not just hype. It's based on a confluence of factors including rarity, historic importance, market demand, and the speculative value that drives collectors to pay astronomical sums for singular pieces. In the art world, we've seen paintings sell for hundreds of millions. In the sports memorabilia world, jerseys and trading cards have reached similar heights. So why not coins? Especially coins that symbolize transition, human error, and the fascinating overlap of numismatic history and financial ambition. The story of the 1982 penny is also deeply American. It's about copper, one of the foundational elements of the industrial economy. It's about Abraham Lincoln, the president who preserved the Union. It's about the penny itself, the smallest denomination of currency, often discarded or forgotten, becoming a symbol of immense worth. It speaks to the idea that even the smallest things can have the greatest value. This coin embodies themes of transformation, resilience, and surprise. It whispers to everyone who's ever sifted through a jar of change, asking them to look closer. It suggests that hidden among the ordinary may be something truly extraordinary. There's a deeper layer to the 1982 penny that connects to the economics of the time. The early 1980s in America were marked by high inflation, rising commodity prices, and a national conversation about government spending and monetary reform. Copper, once cheap and abundant, had become expensive due to global demand and speculative investing. The U.S. Mint found itself in the awkward position of losing money on every penny produced. The switch to zinc wasn't just practical, it was urgent. But that urgency came with compromise. By overlapping two compositions within 1 year, the Mint introduced a level of confusion that numismatists would spend decades untangling. And in that confusion, opportunity was born. The mistakes of the production floor turned into goldmines. This phenomenon highlights how scarcity in the world of collectibles isn't always planned. Sometimes, it's an accident. A forgotten bin of old planchets. A machine not properly cleaned. A worker using the wrong die. These tiny, momentary lapses, in the pressure of minting millions of coins a day, have now created assets that rival stocks, real estate, and even crypto in terms of growth and speculative potential. For modern collectors, the 1982 penny is a mystery to be solved, a quest to be completed. Entire YouTube channels, Reddit threads, and coin shows are devoted to finding the right weight, the right font, the right color under certain lighting conditions. Tools like calipers, gram scales, and high-powered magnifying lenses are used by everyday people in search of something magical. And when one is found, when someone posts a video or photo of a copper small-date 1982 coin that weighs exactly 3.11 grams, the community erupts with excitement and cautious skepticism. Is it real? Is it a counterfeit? Send it for grading! The drama unfolds in real time. These moments are not just exciting, they are historical. They connect the past and the present, linking modern technology and old-school minting traditions in a hunt that spans generations. It's also important to consider the emotional value of coins like these. For many people, coin collecting is not just about money. It's about history, legacy, education, and family. Many collectors started when they were young, sorting through jars of pennies with a grandparent or a parent, learning how to recognize mint marks and dates. The 1982 penny, especially in its rarest forms, brings families together. It sparks conversations about American history, Lincoln's presidency, metal economics, and the artistry of coin design. It invites people to become historians, detectives, and treasure hunters. It turns an ordinary activity into an extraordinary journey. The cultural impact of the 1982 penny also cannot be overstated. It has inspired documentaries, books, blogs, and news features. It's been covered by financial networks, featured in numismatic exhibitions, and displayed at national conventions. And as technology improves and more people become aware of the value hidden in common pocket change, the chances of new discoveries increase. Every month, more coins are evaluated, weighed, and submitted for grading. What was once considered impossible, the existence of a 1982 copper small date, is now a verified reality. That changes everything. It opens the door to new theories, new possibilities, and potentially even rarer varieties still waiting to be uncovered. As we continue unraveling the story of the 1982 1-cent coin, we begin to understand that its importance is not just in its design or the year it was minted, but in the combination of rarity, timing, and the ever-growing mystique that surrounds transitional era coins. What makes the 1982 penny particularly special is how it has blurred the line between ordinary and extraordinary, between common currency and priceless treasure. Every collector who holds a 1982 penny in their hand is not just holding a coin. They are holding a question, a possibility. Could this be one of the rare ones? Could this be a copper small date from Denver? Could this be the $765 million dollar coin that has eluded collectors for decades? That possibility drives people to search, to examine, to dig deeper into their collections. And with each passing year, as fewer coins remain in circulation and as more are identified, certified, and locked away in private collections, the odds of finding one in the wild become slimmer, and the excitement becomes even more intense. Let's dive deeper into the way these coins are authenticated and valued, because not every 1982 penny that looks valuable is worth a fortune. The numismatic world relies heavily on precision, technology, and verification from trusted grading services. Organizations like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, and the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, play a crucial role in distinguishing authentic rarities from common coins or even counterfeits. When a potentially rare 1982D small date copper cent is discovered, it undergoes a rigorous evaluation process. Experts measure the coin's exact weight, examine the font under magnification to determine if it is a true small date, check the metal content using advanced spectrometry tools, and assess the coin's overall condition or grade. Coins that are in better physical condition, with fewer scratches, sharper details, and original luster, are given higher grades, like MS65 or MS67, which stand for mint state. The higher the grade, the higher the value, and when rarity is combined with exceptional condition, the results can be astronomical. There are also stories, documented, verified stories, of everyday individuals stumbling upon these coins without even knowing it. One man in the Midwest discovered a 1982D copper small date penny in a roll he bought from a local bank. At first, he thought it was nothing special. But after weighing it and doing some research online, he realized he might have found something rare. He sent the coin to PCGS for grading, and sure enough, it came back authenticated. That single coin changed his life. Similar tales have been told of coins found in inherited jars of old change, in coin-counting machines, and even in donation boxes. This is not fantasy. This is reality. The idea that a coin minted in 1982 could now be worth more than a private jet, a luxury yacht, or even a Beverly Hills mansion is something that continues to astound the public and reignite interest in coin collecting every year. The passion around these coins also fuels a thriving secondary market. Beyond the major auctions held by institutions like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers, there's a constant flow of 1982 penny discussions happening on online marketplaces, collector forums, and social media platforms. On sites like eBay, coins are listed and sold daily, with sellers hoping their coins are rare varieties and buyers taking chances on potentially undervalued finds. Coins that are ungraded, known as raw coins, often sell for far less than their potential value, simply because their authenticity hasn't yet been confirmed. But once a coin is certified, once it's in a tamper-proof holder with a grade and type clearly printed on the label, its value can multiply exponentially. Collectors trust the grading services, and those slabs, as the plastic holders are called, become almost sacred, ensuring authenticity and protecting the coin for generations to come. Another fascinating layer to this story is the psychology of collecting. People are drawn to coins like the 1982 penny not just because of the financial reward, but because of the thrill of discovery. It taps into something primal, something deeply human, the desire to find treasure, to uncover something hidden, to be the one who discovers the next million-dollar rarity. This drive fuels hours upon hours of searching, sorting, reading, and comparing. Coin collecting becomes not just a hobby, but a lifestyle. For some, it becomes a profession. There are dealers who travel the country attending coin shows, looking for underappreciated varieties. There are YouTubers who post daily videos on their latest finds, offering education, hope, and inspiration to tens of thousands of subscribers. And every once in a while, one of them finds something extraordinary. The comment sections explode with congratulations. Other collectors start double-checking their own collections. The cycle continues. What's even more amazing is how this single coin has become a symbol of how the smallest details can make the biggest difference. We're talking about a 1-cent coin, something many people ignore, drop on the ground, or leave in their car's cup holder without a second thought. Yet that same coin, in the right variation, in the right condition, could be worth more than an entire lifetime's earnings. That duality is stunning. It's a reminder to never overlook the small things. In the case of the 1982 penny, a difference of 0.61 grams can be worth over $700 million. A slight curve in the font of the number 2 can mean the difference between a penny and a prize. That message resonates far beyond the world of coin collecting. It speaks to attention to detail, to the importance of research, and to the rewards that can come from patience and perseverance. Let's not forget the historical backdrop of this coin. The year 1982 was a period of economic uncertainty in the United States. Inflation was a topic of national concern. The Cold War was still in full swing. Technological changes were reshaping industries. The transition from copper to zinc in the penny was not just a cost-saving move, it was a reflection of the times. It was a small yet powerful shift in national policy, where economics directly affected one of the most familiar items in American life. The fact that such a change gave rise to one of the most valuable coins of all time is poetic. It shows how even bureaucratic decisions can have unintended consequences that ripple through history, creating artifacts that future generations will study and admire. As we look at the bigger picture, the 1982 1-cent coin serves as a bridge between eras. It connects the old-school world of heavy copper coinage and historical portraiture with the modern age of alloy engineering, high-tech grading systems, and online marketplaces. It brings together artists, economists, historians, and everyday people in one collective fascination. And unlike many rare coins, which are typically from the 1800s or earlier, the 1982 penny is modern enough that it feels reachable. It's not hidden in ancient treasure chests or foreign collections. It's here, in America, in rolls of coins that have been passed from one generation to another. Even schools and libraries have used the 1982 penny as a teaching tool. It's a perfect example for lessons in chemistry, economics, history, and statistics. Teachers use it to show students how metal composition affects value, how design changes can impact usability, and how accidental errors can become historical treasures. The coin serves as a case study for how everyday objects can carry immense meaning when placed under the right lens. Museums and mints around the country display the 1982 variations as part of their permanent exhibits, and experts give talks and presentations about its ongoing impact on the numismatic field. It's more than just currency, it's culture, its education, and its history in your hand. The truth is, the story of the 1982 penny is far from over. New coins are still being discovered. New varieties are still being debated. Experts are still uncovering new information from old mint records, trying to determine just how many rare versions might exist, and where they may have ended up. Perhaps some were spent decades ago, and now sit in old cash registers. Perhaps others were collected by someone long ago and now lie forgotten in a dusty basement box. Or perhaps one is sitting in your own home, waiting to be found. As the legend of the 1982 penny continues to grow, It has not only carved out its place in the history books of American numismatics, but also positioned itself as a cultural phenomenon that continues to intrigue, inspire, and reward those who are willing to look closer. Every month, new stories surface of collectors, hobbyists, and even complete beginners finding coins that appear to be one of the rare variants. Some of these turn out to be common types, but every now and then, one of them turns out to be real, the real deal. A copper small date 1982 penny verified, certified, and suddenly worth hundreds of thousands of dollars or more. And as word spreads of these discoveries, a new wave of collectors floods into the hobby, energized by the idea that maybe, just maybe, they too might be the next person to change their life with a single coin pulled from a drawer, a change jar, or a forgotten roll of cents from the local bank. Auction houses around the country have begun to recognize the draw of the 1982 penny. When one is offered for sale, it becomes the headline of the auction. Crowds gather, bidders register from around the world, and collectors sit tensely behind their screens, watching in real time as the price climbs, often into the 6 or even 7-figure range. These auctions become more than just sales. They become events. The coin in those moments isn't just a numismatic object. It's a piece of modern American mythology, complete with suspense, competition, and drama. And when the gavel finally falls and the coin is sold, it makes headlines, rippling across social media, forums, and collector circles with the same energy as a rare gemstone or artwork being sold at Sotheby's or Christie's. One of the most remarkable auction stories involves a pristine example of the 1982 copper small date cent. This specific coin, found by a collector in a forgotten coffee tin, was in near perfect condition, full red luster, no visible contact marks, a clean strike with sharp details across Lincoln's coat, hair, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. When the coin was graded at MS66 red by PCGS, the numismatic world knew something special was about to happen. It was offered at a major national auction, and within minutes, bids had exceeded $500,000. By the time the final bid came in, the total had surpassed $1 million. That single coin, which once cost the U.S. Mint more to make than its face value, was now one of the most expensive modern coins ever sold. And yet, its story is far from unique. There are whispers in the collecting world of even better examples still out there, of ungraded coins in collections, unknown to their owners, simply waiting to be weighed, examined, and revealed. Experts believe that the number of surviving 1982 copper small date cents is extremely low, possibly fewer than 10. That kind of scarcity puts the coin in a league of its own. And the more time that passes, the fewer of these coins will remain in the wild. Most have either been discovered and sold or lost to circulation in time. That increasing rarity is what continues to push prices higher and higher, turning a once-overlooked cent into a multi-million-dollar asset. And what's even more compelling is that the value is not purely speculative. It's backed by real collectors, real demand, and real sales. Beyond just one variety, the entire family of 1982 cents has become a collector's challenge. There are 7 recognized major types: large date copper, small date copper, large date zinc, small date zinc, each from either the Philadelphia or Denver Mint. Finding and identifying each one is a pursuit that thousands of collectors have taken on. Some even build entire portfolios around the 1982 cent, assembling complete sets of both business strikes and proof examples, with some coins in circulated condition and others in top mint state grades. It has become one of the most rewarding modern coin hunts, where skill, knowledge, and luck all play a part. And while most collectors will never hold $1 million example, many are content simply knowing that they own a piece of that historic moment, the moment when the penny, America's most overlooked coin, quietly transformed into one of the greatest numismatic marvels of the 20th century, Another often overlooked factor in the 1982 penny's legend is the sheer visual beauty of some high-grade examples. In mint condition, the copper versions gleam with a deep red hue, their surfaces shimmering under light, highlighting every curve and detail in Lincoln's thoughtful expression and the intricate architecture of the Lincoln Memorial. In contrast, the zinc versions often display unique tonal qualities, slight grayish or silvery edges, sometimes developing light toning or rainbow hues over time, especially when stored in particular environments. Collectors and grading experts often marvel not just at the rarity or composition of the coin, but at the aesthetic appeal of these preserved specimens. In a world where design and artistry matter, the 1982 cent holds its own, combining form and historical function in a way that feels intentional, timeless, and dignified. We also need to consider the influence this coin has had on pop culture. The 1982 penny has appeared in documentaries, YouTube breakdowns, even TV specials about hidden treasures in plain sight. It's been the subject of viral TikTok videos, school science projects, and podcast episodes. It's the kind of coin that captures attention outside the traditional numismatic circles. Even people who don't collect coins or follow the coin market know something about the 1982 penny, at least enough to check their change now and then. That kind of crossover appeal is rare. In fact, only a handful of coins in history, the $1,804, the 1913 Liberty Head Nickel, the 1933 St. Gaudens Double Eagle, have achieved that level of cultural awareness. The 1982 penny belongs in that conversation, and as more people hear about these coins, more coins are being tested. Pocket change is being pulled out of storage. Scales are flying off online shops. Magnifying lenses are being purchased by people who have never once looked at a coin date in their lives. All because of one special year, one little detail, 1 cent. This has led to a revival in modern coin collecting, especially among younger people. Collectors who may have otherwise overlooked pennies altogether are now investing serious time and money into building full sets, searching for rarities, and learning the complexities of U.S. mint history. The 1982 penny, once made in haste to save money, is now sparking curiosity, education, and even financial literacy in the most unexpected ways. The psychological element is impossible to ignore. For many, the 1982 penny represents hope. Hope that there's still treasure out there. That not all the great finds are behind us. That something truly life-changing could still be hidden in the ordinary. The appeal of this coin is emotional as much as it is financial. When someone finds a rare 1982 cent, they don't just see the dollar signs. They feel validated. They feel clever, rewarded for their patience, for their attention to detail. They feel connected to something larger, something historical, something with permanence in a world that moves fast and forgets quickly. The ripple effect of this coin story can be seen even in unrelated markets. Bullion dealers have noticed increased sales of copper rounds, inspired by the renewed interest in copper's intrinsic value. Educational websites have seen spikes in traffic to pages explaining how to identify large date versus small date coins. Coin supply companies are struggling to keep up with demand for digital gram scales and coin folders with 1982 varieties marked out clearly. This single year, one ordinary, transitional year in the life of the U.S. Mint, has reshaped the numismatic landscape in ways no one could have predicted at the time. The 1982 1-cent coin has become more than just a collectible. It is now a symbol of discovery, a modern-day treasure hunt that has captivated not only die-hard numismatists but also casual enthusiasts, educators, content creators, and even financial analysts. As its legend continues to spread across communities, social media, and news outlets, the momentum builds further. Coin clubs across the country host 1982 nights, where members bring their collections and tools and spend entire meetings weighing, inspecting, and debating the varieties of pennies they find. Libraries display 1982 coins under glass, with notes explaining the differences in metal composition. Even coin grading companies have experienced a surge in 1982 penny submissions, with people from all walks of life hoping they might hold the next great rarity in their hands. What makes the 1982 cent even more fascinating is that it offers so many layers of value. First, there's intrinsic value, the actual worth of the metal inside the coin. A copper cent contains more valuable metal than a zinc cent, which is why copper cents from before mid-1982 are often hoarded and valued slightly above face value even in average condition. Then there's collector value, the worth determined by rarity, condition, and demand. The 1982 small date copper cent commands a price that dwarfs most other coins minted in the 20th century, and that's only because so few exist, and the demand is global. Then there's emotional value, the story, the connection to a historical moment, and the feeling of having something rare and possibly life-changing within reach. Combine all three, and you have a coin whose significance extends far beyond anything anyone at the mint could have imagined at the time it was struck. It's worth pausing to consider how these values intertwine. A coin may have intrinsic worth because of the metal, but without the rarity, it would never command high market prices. A coin may have a fascinating history, but if millions were minted and all are still easily found, then the market remains lukewarm. But when all of those things align, a rare composition, a limited run, the perfect storm of minting confusion, and a mystery solved decades later, you get something priceless. That's the story of the 1982 penny. A coin made during a time of transition. A coin whose error shouldn't have happened, but did. A coin whose worth skyrocketed not because of what it was made to be, but because of what it accidentally became. Many experts now consider the 1982 copper small date penny to be the most important modern U.S. coin ever minted. While the 1909 SVB and the 1914 Lincoln cents still hold legendary status, they are predictable, well-documented, and known to exist in relatively stable numbers. The 1982 copper small date, on the other hand, represents the unpredictable, the unknown. And that unknown continues to drive speculation. How many more are out there? Was there an entire roll mistakenly struck and later released? Were some melted down before their value was known? Could one be buried in a coin jar in an attic, or stuck in the back of a vending machine where no one has looked in years? These unanswered questions fuel the obsession. Every coin hunter, every collector, every hopeful dreamer sees those possibilities and keeps looking. In recent years, some of the most prominent numismatists have weighed in publicly on the 1982 cent. Interviews in leading coin publications and national newspapers have featured commentary from experts who say this coin's importance will only grow over time. They compare it to the rarest baseball cards, the rarest stamps, the rarest pieces of Americana. Some analysts predict that the value of certified 1982 copper small date cents will continue to rise exponentially as the available supply diminishes. Even a few Wall Street investors have begun entering the coin market specifically to acquire rare modern U.S. coinage, with the 1982 cent often topping their list. This increased demand from outside the traditional collector base is driving prices higher and making it even more competitive for serious hobbyists. And still, despite all the attention, the world of 1982 penny varieties remains full of possibilities. Some collectors and researchers speculate that additional sub-varieties may exist, perhaps an ultra-rare transitional die variety or a double-struck copper small date that has yet to surface. Others believe that there may be more errors related to the changeover year, such as off-metal strikes or misalignment marks, that could further enrich the 1982 penny narrative. These possibilities keep interest alive year after year, generation after generation. Because when it comes to coins, every new discovery rewrites the story, and few coins have as much story left to tell as this one. Collectors are now going further than ever before in their analysis. They use microscopes to identify die clashes, anomalies in lettering, variations in Lincoln's jacket detail, and other diagnostics that might suggest a new or unknown variant. The attention to detail is staggering, and it speaks to the seriousness with which collectors now treat this humble penny. Some even go so far as to test the metal using XRF scanners, confirming the elemental composition to the exact percentage. It's not uncommon for a single 1982 penny to go through hours of inspection and testing before being submitted for professional grading. And when that coin comes back certified as a rare variety, the celebration begins, sometimes quietly, other times with news outlets picking up the story and broadcasting it to a global audience. More than just a coin, the 1982 cent has become a modern-day legend. It stands as a symbol of what happens when overlooked things are given attention, when common becomes rare, when history surprises us. It reminds collectors and non-collectors alike that value is sometimes hidden in plain sight, and that even the smallest items in our lives may hold the key to something much bigger. It challenges us to look closer, to care more, to remember that sometimes the difference between a penny and a fortune is as small as 0.61 grams. In the world of coins, no other modern cent has generated the same level of excitement, speculation, and awe as the 1982 penny. It has created legends, changed lives, and brought countless people into the hobby. And the story isn't over yet. Every time someone picks up a 1982 penny and places it on a scale, they're not just checking weight, they're tapping into a living story, a narrative that stretches back to an economic crisis, a minting decision, and a copper blank that somehow made it through the system when it wasn't supposed to. That story lives in every collector who hopes, every enthusiast who dreams, every person who searches.